everyone, I'm Jackson.
I'm Dane.
This is the pilot episode of
R.A.N.T, ranting against nonsensical things. And here we're going to talk about Harry Potter and some of its big plot holes and really nitpicky ones.
So buckle up, kids.
So, my biggest plot hole is that Sirius shouldn't have died. In Book 5, Harry breaks into Umbridge's office and talks to Sirius through the fire, and Sirius is just sitting there with Lupin, and his first thing to say is like, "Hey Harry, how are you doing? What are you instead of like, "Hey, what are you doing? All the fires in and out of school are being watched. Oh, I broke into the headmistress's office. She hates me. She's going to expel me if she finds me in here." Sirius is like, "Okay, I appreciate the risk, but like, why don't you just use the enchanted mirror I gave you? We could just communicate freely. Nobody watching." But since Sirius could easily talk to Harry through the enchanted mirrors that he would totally tell Harry about, Harry would just like check the mirror as soon as he thinks that Sirius is captured, see that Sirius is totally alive and well at headquarters, because Sirius probably keeps it in his pocket at all times, hoping Harry will contact him. Harry doesn't have to rush off to the ministry, doesn't have to get Sirius killed, and all in all, a better ending for everyone. But not only he shouldn't have died at all, but he shouldn't have been in prison in the first place. In Book 3, they talk about how he was imprisoned for the murder of Peter Pettigrew, which he didn't commit.
But there's a glaring issue with that. Priori Incantata.
And so when Sirius commits all those murders, why don't they just use Priori Incantatem on his wand, see that he didn't actually fire off the spell that killed 13 people, and be like, dude, you're innocent, you're free to go.
Or they could just use the most effective truth serum in the world, Veritaserum, which it's been stated can pretty much get the truth out of anyone, right?
Barty Crouch Jr. happens also in the 4th book. They get an entire confession about things he probably didn't want to talk about, like murdering several people and impersonating an Auror for an entire year. Thestrals. Let me talk about Thestrals. Book 4. Cedric, already been murdered. Harry takes the carriages back to the Hogwarts Express. Still horseless. Book 5. Comes back. What? There's horses now, even though he'd seen Cedric die last June, before he got on the carriages.
Well, I mean, forget even that. We're shown in the movies, and we see it in the books, that Harry watches his mother die in front of Voldemort. He sees death from, like, the age of 1. He should be able to see the Thestrals day 1. Like, because didn't Luna say that she's always been able to see the Thestrals?
Mm-hmm. But she saw her mother die when she was 9. Okay, maybe there's some weird, he can't remember it, baby thing. Don't care about that. Cedric. He dies in Book 4. Harry is clearly old enough to remember it. What's up with that? And nobody mentions it before this.
Yeah. Well, you'd have to think, like, someone would say, well, but think about it. Like, think about how many people have really seen death in Harry Potter. If someone said there's fleshless horses carrying the carriages, they would have just been like, 99% of the student population would be like, no, you're crazy. It's magic, man.
That's true.
But at the same time, I mean, you'd think there was someone, like, more credible than Luna Lovegood.
Neville. Neville never mentioned it, and there's at least once...
Well, Neville's never seen death, remember?
Yeah, he has.
Are you sure?
He's granddad. It mentions in Book 5 when it talks about Hagrid's like, who can see the Thestrals? Neville and some other Slytherin kid.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I haven't read the books in a while. I'm a little preoccupied right now.
And also,
you know,
the prefix taking away points in Book 5... Malfoy's like, oh yeah, I'm going to take 5 points away from all of them for being pricks. He does that, and Ron's like, no, you can't do that. You're only a prefect. That would totally undermine the whole system. And he's like, yes, but now I can because I'm something else, and who cares about that? I'm just the ponziest ponce ever. But in Book 2, Percy saw Harry, Ron, and Hermione coming out of Myrtle's bathroom, and he's like, what are you guys doing in there? That's a girl's bathroom. 10 points from Gryffindor. Which means that it had already been established that prefects could take points away.
And, like, people have talked about, like, oh, maybe they're both just pricks, and they think they can take away points. Percy's a prick, but he's an authoritarian prick. And to be an authoritarian, you have to know the limits of your authority. So, and, like he's not stupid. So, he obviously knows that prefects can take away points.
Why doesn't anyone take Professor Trelawney seriously? Everything that she said in the books turns out to be true.
Not everything she said.
Okay,
every legitimate prophecy. Because remember,
no, she has a ton of little ones, like, oh, someone's going to leave us around Easter, and, oh, the thing you're dreading is going to happen then, and something else about the lightning-struck tower in Book 6.
True.
There is no evidence to prove that Professor Trelawney's a fraud. Nothing whatsoever.
Maybe it's just the fact that, you know,
And she never
don't dress like a loony woman if you're not a loony woman, you loony woman.
Yeah, but here's our big thing. What dictates wizarding power? Say I use Wingardium Leviosa on a pencil. What would stop me from using it on, say, an entire house?
Well, and, like, let's just think about this. Like, again, the two most powerful wizards to ever exist.
They just say they're powerful. What makes them more powerful than anyone else?
Yeah, Dumbledore and Voldemort. Like, is there any kind of an innate magical... Is there, like, innate magical strength where, like, everyone has a limit? Like... So then that would bring up a whole new discussion about, like, magic genes. Like,
there doesn't seem to be any limit to, like, how many spells you can do. Maybe I can just completely spam whatever magic it is.
Yeah, magic doesn't seem to exhaust you in any sense. Like, it's not like the Force where, you know, you lift one little teeny tiny spaceship, Luke, you wussy, and you just give out. Like, there doesn't seem to be any kind of limit to what magic itself can do. So the limit must be in the wizard and witch.
Yeah. But my main problem is all of their explanations are just cause magic.
Yeah. Because, like, that's honestly my biggest... Oh, at the end of the day, that was my biggest problem with Harry Potter at all. And, like, it's not even that much of a problem, because who...
It's just a niggle.
Yeah, because, like, who wouldn't want to live in a world of infinite magic, honestly? But...
This isn't like Aragon, where magic, like, say lifting something heavy takes more energy than lifting something light, but we'll get on that later, probably in a later video.
Another video. But magic has no defined limits, or for that matter, rules. You can do anything. Alright, okay, big thing. How do you invent a spell?
Made up Latin.
True. But then again, like... So, like, spell weaving has to be the most complicated thing in magic to do. It seems, because we never see anyone in the Harry Potter series use a spell that hasn't already been invented. Like, okay, Dumbledore did all these great things, and he's like Order of Merlin first class, but it never mentions him, like, inventing a spell. So where do all these spells come from? Like, where do the spells that the wizards know and pass down, or, like, come from?
Okay, to be fair, that's something I have with real life, too, like all these super complicated math theorems. It's like, who invented you?
And why?
Yeah. Okay, the magic thing is, there's a problem. I've got a dictionary full of Latin words, let's pronounce some of them wrong and see what it does.
Right, but then, like, but that gives the question, do the words channel the magic? No, because...
Non-verbal spells exist.
Yes, so then how do you create the effect of magic? Like, do you just think? Like, okay, here's how maybe a way it can maybe function. You have a problem. Do you think a way through it being solved with magic, and then do that with your innate magic power channel through your wand? Wouldn't that then make anything infinitely possible, and the concept of worded spells not have to exist?
Okay, but there can't be the concept of innate magic power at all, because you can't just use it with your fingers.
Okay, here's the thing. You can, but to a lesser extent than with a wand.
But then...
Dumbledore, remember,
I guess
Dumbledore
the wand's just like a magnifying glass.
Okay, yeah, but like, big thing. Again, Dumbledore lights a whole wardrobe on fire with his mind. He doesn't even use his wand.
He does use his wand in the book. We're not talking about the movies.
I'm sorry.
He does it in the books.
No, I'm pretty sure he doesn't do it with his wand.
He just kind of like... I'm pretty sure he just like flicks his wand. But anyway, wouldn't a Muggle-born, like even a straight-up Muggle, be able to pick up someone's wand and go... and do stuff with it at least?
No, because we've already gone through magic genes, remember?
But still, because you can obviously pick up somebody else's wand.
Right, but you still have to have the innate magical power in you. But
then if you have the power inside you, why do you need a wand at all?
Apparently because it acts as a conduit. Like, okay, but then that creates another thing. Like, is there a magic, like, such as the Force? Like, is there, like, a magical force that permeates everyone and binds us all together? And that you need a wand to perform higher level, like, abilities with it? Is that how magic works? We're never given a way for how magic works.
It's just, boom, magic. See you next week. Probably not. We'll see you later. It's been great.
Yes. See you guys.